Hello, I'm Anica, a certified Zentangle teacher from Croatia, and here we go, day one. My eye is here on the table. I will start with the first step of the Zentangle method, which is appreciation. So let me just start by saying how much I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And then these beautiful supplies, and then these moments of calm in the day when we get to just sit down and relax and create. The second step of the Zentangle method are the 4 dots in the corners of the tile. And then I will connect those dots with the border. It can be either a straight line or a wavy one. I might use that border or the lines later, but I might as well decide to ignore them. That's the freedom of the creative process. And then you might want to add a string to divide this space into sections. So this is what our tile without the eye usually looks like when we follow the steps of the Zentangle method. Maybe I will not do it all throughout the challenge. Maybe I will just do what inspires me in any given moment. But here it is. I'm starting with this, and the next step is to take your pen and draw. The first tangle of Inktober Tangles Challenge 2025 is Festune. And Festune, I will just say it, it's not a tangle that excites me. But let's play with it. Let's see. I will draw with my pencil an outline of an oval shape. Maybe yours will be bigger or smaller. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And then I will place a dot somewhere. So you see, I did it off center. Doesn't have to be in the center. And then I will connect the edge of the tile, of the outline, with this little dot. And I like to start from the edge and shoot for this central part, or off-central part in this case, and make this kind of little hook. And I know that, you know, it's maybe not the way that Zentangle does this, because they maybe distribute these lines in a different way, but we can do whatever we feel suits our creative process. And on top of each of these, I will draw a little perf, or, you know, a little oval or round shape. Again, make it yours. You don't need to. Mine is very like organic. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I never try to make things perfect. And this is the key to success, because when you intentionally aim for the imperfection, it takes the pressure off. It just makes things much more fun. So now I told you I'm not really excited by this tangle. Let's try to make it more exciting by adding some shades, highlights to it. And I will kind of use the directional shading principle, assuming that the light comes from this top left part and shines on whatever objects or tangles or whatever I will have here. And I'm placing these shades at the bottom right side. So this is my kind of strategy for this tangle, and trying to give it a little bit more 3D effect by using this shading approach to kind of enhance it, because shading is also one of the tangle enhancers. So even if you are not excited about the tangle, maybe if you invest a little bit of time into embellishments and enhancements, maybe you will eventually like it. So let's see if I like it. I don't really have an idea what this will look like when it's done. And now I will do something that's not in line with this directional shading, because, you know, I don't care about doing things the way that they should be done. And I had some comments in the past saying like, this shading here is wrong or whatever, especially by people who are not really familiar with Zentangle and no mistakes principle. And it's not, you know, it's not that it's a mistake, it's just an intentional effort to be free of these ideas that something has to be done a certain way. So I'm not a figurative painter. I'm doing these little pieces of art, but it's pieces of the relaxation process, pieces of joint fun. And I don't care about the consistency of shading or whatever. So maybe you want to join me in experiencing that freedom to create just the way that you feel in the moment. Now I will add a little highlight to the opposite side. And I'm using this charcoal white by General Pencil. It's a part of the basic Zentangles kit. Maybe I will just add it like this. And I try to avoid adding white charcoal on top of the graphite pencil, just because it creates then some kind of a gray color. And actually, when I work on a tensile, I already have this mid-tone, so I don't need anything between white and shades, because this background is already the thing that's in the middle of it. Finally, take your blending stump, the one for the white, and just blend. I'm not a fan of these grays still, but it is what it is, as I said, no mistakes. I will add a little bit of light with my white gel pen as well to these parts that are that I would assume would be highlighted the most. So if you want to join me, that's fine. If you have an idea about a different way, I almost said a better, but there's no wrong or right ways to do things when you create, and there's nothing that's better. Everybody has their own style and their own ideas, so exercise your own ideas. And if you don't have any idea, and if you just prefer to tangle along, do that. So this is my Festune, and still I'm not in love with it. I want to use this blue to add some color to these perfs. And right after I do that, I will add a little white dot. And because I'm placing it on top of color, and the color is not even dry yet, it will probably pick up some of the blue from the background, which is fine with me. And in my attempt to make Festune nice, I will use this little palette, and I'm sorry about this sound, and apply a little bit of the blue to this beautiful handmade ceramic piece that I bought somewhere from an artist at Etsy back in the time when Etsy had more real artists there. And I will enhance these shades, or attempt to do that, by adding them a little bit of blue. Let's see what it does to my tangle, because I'm not sure it was a great idea. But that's fine, you know, it's exactly what I try to do when I tangle. I realize now that I added blue here on top of this white highlighted side. But it doesn't matter. If you don't overthink and if you don't over obsess about making things pretty, you will really feel this freedom to create just for the sake of creative process. And this is what it is about. Just feeling that entitlement to draw. And it's not for a mark. We are not in school anymore. So draw just for the sake of it, just for the joy of it. A little bit more white, just to try to get rid of what I did with the blue that wasn't supposed to be here. It came uninvited. And yeah, you know, I'm still not excited about Festune, but the great thing about this challenge is that you will be challenged to use the tangles that you would otherwise not choose yourself, and just play with them. I'm thinking about maybe adding just a little bit of highlight. It's like a little enhancement of my letter A. A little bit of highlight on top left side, right? And maybe a little bit of shade on bottom right. I'm not sure that this shade will play a big role, because this graphite is not the darkest one, so it might not actually darken the blue. Maybe it's better to use the blue and just add another layer to make it darker. Again, trying different things, not being afraid of failure. I hope you'll join me in that attitude. Well, here's my imperfect Festune, the first tangle of Inktober 2025. If you want to play with it, if you want to add a little bit more love to it, you're invited to do it. Maybe use a darker graphite to enhance some of those shades, or maybe use some more white to try to make it come alive. As long as you are having fun, that's the most important thing. Thank you for joining me for this day 1 of Inktober Tangles challenge, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.